Please stay tuned to see my after photos.
Hi, everyone. I'm Julie, and today I'm going to talk about fitness, why I got into exercising, how I stay motivated, and the benefits that I see with alleviating symptoms of my bipolar disorder. So, I always like to give a bit of a backstory. Growing up, I was really active. I played pretty much every sport imaginable. I was out riding horses on a ranch. My parents took us camping, so we had a lot of outdoor activity. So I was very active until about junior year of high school, and bipolar depression hit me like a ton of bricks. Uh, I did not want to get out of bed. I didn't want to do anything. I missed the first semester of high school, and my attendance after that was not great either. And basically, I was sidelined. I was also a 4.0 student, so showed a lot of promise growing up. And then that bipolar depression just decided to wreak havoc. And back then, this is back in the 90s, things were a little bit different. So my doctor started giving me antidepressants, not knowing that I'm bipolar. And with antidepressants, they can actually shoot you into mania. We don't want to go there with bipolar disorder. We typically are not given medication for depression. So basically, my life changed at that point, and I became very inactive. Now, I did go through phases where I would work out for a bit. Was more active than some days than other, but I just never made a habit out of moving and getting outside and just trying to elevate my mood naturally with exercise. So that's the first component of the story. Now, the second part is last year I was seeing somebody. I was running on my thinner side. I do fluctuate on weight. So I was very thin. And my partner wanted to thicken me up a bit and kind of adopt his eating time. So for me, it's very important what time I eat. I like to finish my meals by 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. So it allows me time to digest it before going to bed. So I started eating later. I started eating a lot of junk. And within 6 months, I became pre diabetic. So my partner allowed me to go back to eating on my schedule. And I understand that it's not easy to not be aligned with your partner's schedule. But knowing that it became a health issue for me, um, that change was important to go back to what I was doing before because my blood work was great, other than vitamin D and a little bit of anemia. And just to touch on the anemia, it turns out I don't metabolize folate or folic acid, which is one of the B vitamins, very well. And that also contributed to the anemia. So I have some other little health issues as well. Broken back years ago. It's not been really treated, so I'm working with that too. So after about 6 months, this is last January of 2024, I had my blood tested again, and after changing back to my diet, my hemoglobin A1C did come down from 5.7 to 5.5, and my cholesterol started going back to where it should have been. My good cholesterol was always up, and my bad cholesterol was down, and then it had flip flopped, and then it started going back in the other direction just through changing my diet. Now, in January, I went through a breakup and I had started a new job. And then my medication decided to give me a permanent movement disorder. So I started having to go back to medication roulette and trying to figure out what's going to work. And that is not fun, people. It is not fun. It makes me sick. This is pretty much most people with bipolar disorder. It's very difficult to get the right mixture, and it's a process, and it's very difficult to just function throughout that process. But I did want to do something to help and get a natural energy boost. Um, so I decided to start walking. Now, I'm not a licensed healthcare professional or trainer. So we always want to consult with our care team to make sure you're healthy enough to take on some exercise depending on your situation. So I started just by going outside and walking around the neighborhood. If you don't live in a good neighborhood or don't feel safe, find a place where you do feel safe. For instance, I walked along a canal in Arizona. There was a lot of people going by, so I felt okay there. You can go to the gym and get on a treadmill. You can look up trails on All Trails. As you can see, I have this lovely hill. Very fortunate to have it, and I just do circuits around it. It's very steep in some places. You don't need to go steep starting out. Just go on very, very easy, even terrain and just go slow. The other important component to the aging process and then just getting that feel good boost is resistance training. So we lose muscle as we age, and I think it starts around your 30s, and especially women. Now, this goes for everybody, but especially women, it's very important to try and retain your muscle mass. I'm not saying go out and, get just all juiced up. Because that's not going to happen, and it's not going to happen overnight either. So don't worry about that. You're not going to get super bulky, or at least most people won't, unless you have some fabulous genetics or something. You just happen to bulk up fast. So I have different methods because it's going to depend on my mood and how I'm feeling, and I do isolate. There are days I do not like to people, meaning I don't like to see people and I don't want people to see me, so I just stay within the confines of my apartment. So in that case, I have resistance bands. They're just elastic bands. You can find them on Amazon. They're very inexpensive. There's even exercises that you don't even need equipment for at all. You just use your body weight for the resistance, like think push-ups and that sort of thing. So that's what I do on days where I don't want to see people or go to the gym. I have a complex gym here that I utilize. So that's kind of a nice feature that I have at my fingertips. But I also have a Planet Fitness membership as well. They're very inexpensive, and you can start there, or, whatever local gyms you have in your area. Everybody has something different. So you can find an inexpensive gym as well if that's the route you want to go. I still get very shy about it. I tend to use the complex gym more because nobody's usually there. It's just not very many people, and that appeals to me just because I still feel awkward with all the machines around and people looking at me. So that's what I'd like to do. And I I've taken it easy since January until just a couple weeks ago. Um, I did not increase my weight. Now, it is important to start increasing at some point to get that muscle mass, at least retain it, if anything, if you're younger. But as we get older, we're going to start losing that mobility, and that the biggest factor is going to be your muscles. Um, and it's just kind of like the main part of your structure that keeps you moving. And so I already have enough of a challenge of trying to function um, without mobility issues, other than my back gets a little funky sometimes. And growing up, I was just like, all right, I'll start working out when I need to. When I start falling apart, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. Worst advice to myself ever. We want to start now, as soon as possible, because if we're adding in mobility issues on top of depression and top of mood changes, it's going to just make it even more challenging to get out there as we age. So I know it's not an easy process, and it's not easy to stay motivated or get motivated. But what I do is I try to keep everything readily available, like my workout clothes and my shoes. And I hate changing. I don't know why. It might be part of the bipolar disorder. I don't know, but I hate changing clothes. It's not my thing. So I just try to keep everything readily available. I have my weight vest out, I have my bands out, my little, yoga mat ready to go, and just make it handy. And then the other thing is, maybe find a friend or a family member who will go on a walk with you. Um, you know, just the walk. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be strenuous. I'm not doing any intense cardio. You don't have to do that. That's not really how it's not really what you need these days. If you want to run, great, but I recommend walking. Walking is very, very beneficial for you because it just keeps things in motion. And again, you do want to add that muscle mass. So I also do. I just recently increased my protein intake because I was not eating enough protein. I That's a very important component too, and I do try to eat the protein on my plate first. So you may have different options, and veggies or potatoes or whatever your sides are. Just try to prioritize that protein intake. And I know it's very difficult to change your diet, and I'll probably go in depth more on that. But that's what I do, because if you're not fueling your body with enough protein and you're trying to build muscle mass, is going to not make it as effective with your workouts. So, highly recommend that. And then also, as far as working out outside, that vitamin D does give you that natural boost. So, it's good to get the vitamin D straight from the source. I did have to get a prescription for some pretty strong milligrams of vitamin D as a supplement for a few weeks to get my vitamin D back into the normal range. But now that I'm outside and getting sun and not being a vampire at home, just kind of wallowing in my depression, um, it's helped boost my mood exponentially. I cannot tell you, like, I was it was pathetic. I don't want to say pathetic, like, you're like, don't take that the wrong way. It just That's how I felt about myself. I did not leave my bedroom. I was working from my bed because my back has issues. So I was working from my bed, and then I wasn't even going out to the living room. I was in my bed 24/7, other than, trying to doing basic bodily needs and that sort of thing, trying to get food and whatnot. But okay, we'll say like 23 hours out of the day. Um, so I was in really bad shape for quite a while, and uh, just incorporating workouts and getting outside and moving has made a huge difference. I can't tell you enough um, how much it's helped me. And yes, I do struggle with motivation. There are days where it's not going to happen. That's okay. You don't have to do this every day. Is it good to do it? To try to do it as much as possible, but you also need to give your body a rest, especially if you are lifting weights. I just recently increased my weights, just so that I do start building more muscle. But I just wanted to make it a daily habit instead of like dreading going there and having to overexert myself. But now I'm at that point where I feel comfortable with doing that. So, it's been about 9 months for me to take me to get to that point. Um, so yeah, those are kind of the basics on what I do. Um, I'm not going to make a whole fitness video unless you guys want me to. You can put that in the comments if you do want to, kind of work out with me as I'm working out, just for a motivation factor. But no worries, I don't, there's so many videos out there. Just Google, um, you know, arm workout for women, arm workout for men, just simple weights, how to use your exercise bands. There's a lot of knowledge out there. So I, on another note, what kind of helped me get into a routine and know how the health benefits worked from working out is I started watching podcasts. Um, and I was never a podcast person, but I started watching Andrew Huberman and Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. So, uh, Dr. Gabrielle Lyon is a nutritionist, a geriatric nutritionist. She has her PhD. And then we have Andrew Huberman, who is like kind of a neuroscientist of sorts over at Stanford. And he's actually made some videos about bipolar disorder, and kind of just the mechanics behind it. So, if you have some time and kind of want to know why this is beneficial and really get into the science of it and the nitty gritty, I recommend watching them. I have no affiliation with them. That's just what helped me. So another resource that you can use is just educating yourself on the benefits and how it works. And I enjoy the scientific portion of it. It intrigues me. So that could help kind of give you that spark that you need to motivate yourself. So I'm going to continue making some more videos, but it's been great talking to you, and you guys have a great day. All right, bye.
Thank you for watching. Check out the links in the description below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.